So I think I got this thing working, at least to the point where you can see me. Now, I think I only bought one charger, so I am not sure how the microphone situation and the audio is going to be here, but yeah, I can't, because I need the light, so I can't, it's whatever. Okay, so I want to talk for a second to the Latin American community, because I know it feels like I am the conservative bitch who's against you. But let's also define conservatism for a moment. Now, the reason that I advocate for it, like for a very long time, I too believed in purity politics. And I felt like my purity politics was my ticket into, I'm not sure, as opposed to actually just paying for a ticket into blah, blah, blah. This could be like, oh, my purity politics will gain me admission to a play, even though I could have just used my actual cash to get into the play. I don't know. I was young. I was naive. I was really set on purity politics. But here's the thing. Purity politics can't actually mean anything to a person who has been raped. That's actually important. I'm going to take this out because this isn't doing anything. So the purity politics can't mean anything to someone who's been raped because the autonomy has been taken away from that person. And typically that's happening to Black girls, to African girls. And it's also happening quite a lot in the Latin American community, where like darker skinned Latin American girls, these are not Black girls, these are like, you know, other Mexican girls, other Spanish girls. The darker in hue they are, though, their parents, like mostly the fathers in these families, are like raping their own children. And you know, maybe you can look at me and be like, oh my God, you're just saying that because you're a racist or blah blah blah, whatever other reason. But if you look at the Latin American community, they actually don't promote on television or in any other form of media any dark-skinned people. Everyone on television is very fair complexioned because their entire economy, like I've said before, is built on racism, colorism. That is what it is. It's not two things, it's not three things. That's what it is. Like, that's how they make their money. This is why when I went to Tijuana and I saw the Mexican prostitutes, I was very concerned, because I honestly do have an affiliation toward women, no matter like what women these are. Like, I want to see all women empowered, not just Black women, not just white women, really all women. And so there was this empathy I felt where I was like, oh shit, like these women seriously feel like they have an ability or some sort of power by being prostitutes in Tijuana. And who's going to tell them otherwise? Because there are some men who are at the bottom of society who will continue to go and give them money and give them access and make them feel a certain way. Like Tyler is one of those men. And I'm just saying, I went with him because I wanted to see it for myself. And I know a lot of other men who do that too. And there's this big idea now where men are like, well, we can move to, you know, Miami. And the big thing about Miami is just mulattoes. Like, men are moving there to have more access to women who look like me, honestly. And like, that's not, to me, that's not funny. It's not funny to go and just have some real belief that like you have autonomy or ability to like smash or have access to or pay for beautiful women, and actually you have no, it's not, you don't have any intent to go there and find a wife or a partner. Like, what you actually want to do is just consume women, because women are a commodity. And I just want, and one of the other reasons I have continued to come out and try to look like dusty almost on purpose, or really try to just occupy space as this person who doesn't belong to anyone but myself, I've tried to do this because what I've realized is that like there's so many women who've had their purity stolen. This happens a lot to Black, brown women, women of color, where it's like they are being consumed for their sex, really, and men love it. Men love it. They would die and kill for it. But they also want to live in the society. So they want to go to work, you know, they want to have meaningful interactions in society and all that shit. But you can't do that in American society, at least, if you are also basically promoting prostitution, consuming prostitutes, and being an active racist. That is actually socially unacceptable at this point in society. This is why you see a lot of like Latin American Spaniards or whites, and really like Chinese now too, like leaving America because they have no affiliation toward integration. Like they don't want that. It's not good for them. They don't see beauty or value in black or brown people or poor women or education and nothing like that. Like those things are not important to them. So they are not promoting them. They are not trying to equalize them. They don't care. That's the point. They don't care. And I guess I also wanted to talk briefly about the school shooting that happened, simply because like I think more and more people are understanding how dangerous the society that we live in is. And this danger, and it continues to be the danger, like the school shooting happened in a white community. It was a white kid who shot up people. White men, boys, have been having this angst and anger for a very long time. They have been angry. They are going to continue to be angry. It's not all of them. The waspy whites are going to continue to be waspy whites. They're actually very happy, and the society is functioning very well for them. Like if you're talking about, if you want to know what like a waspy white is, go look at like Candace Owens, like her husband, any of the Trump kids, go look at them. Who might be another, I don't know, any one of those like white actors, Cumber, Bakkenschatz or whatever, Tom Hanks, really any like white guy who's like married. That like he's actually really happy with most likely his like white wife. Like they love it. The country is great for them. Those kids are not going and shooting up schools. You know whose kids are? It's the Roseanne kids. Like it's the and soon enough, actually, it's going to be, what is that? There's a show that's very similar to Roseanne, but it depicts a Latin American community. Those kids too, because those kids believe that racism was going to work for them. Like they believed that by just existing and having American access or citizenship, that they were going to be entitled to all of the things that they saw in the developing world, where colorism played a role in the hierarchy, and you get respect based on your looks and not your etiquette or respect or your actual contributions to society. They believe this heavily. I mean, go talk to any person in the Indian community. Like, you will literally have an Indian doctor from a lower caste who other doctors are shitting on. A doctor, imagine, like, you've got to be some sick motherfucker to like look at another doctor and be like, you're not real just because you are from a lower caste. Like, that's really how they believe, and this is what they believe. And this is why I'm saying I really highly encourage more people to go take a look at Ann Coulter's content about immigration. It's not necessarily about, to me, I'm not discriminating against black immigrants, African immigrants. I'm not saying that. I feel like most of them are actually fleeing like war-torn countries. The immigration that I actually have a problem with is the upper class immigration, because those people have no like bet on America. Like they don't actually care about all the work that has been put in to get America to where it is now. They really don't care. What they care about is the racism and elitism that they have experienced where they're from. It's the Germans, it's the Parisians, it's the Czechoslovakians, it's the Spaniards, and really it's the other Africans. These people are already rich where they're coming from. They're doing really good where they're coming from, and they're coming here simply to occupy more space and occupy more resources. They're not coming here to contribute to civility. They don't care about civil rights. They don't care. And this is the part this becomes problematic for me, because all of the people of color, if you are not a waspy white and you are here in America, the only reason that you are here is because of civil rights. If all of the work that Black Americans did in the past to get to a place where we have real civil rights now, if that didn't happen, your blood would not be acceptable on this land. Most old waspy white slaveholders had no care toward like an Indian doctor or even a Chinese doctor. They didn't care. They don't like anyone else. Like they're I mean, it's almost like Nazism in a sense. Like what they care about is other white people and other white children thriving in society, seeing themselves in all the parts of society and believing on a cellular level that they are better than everyone else. That's what this is about. So to all the other people who are coming in and consuming the resources, you got to realize whose blood you're fucking stepping on. And this respect that you believe that you have in this integrated society, you only have it as a facade to other members in your community, because we honestly live still in a very segregated society. And I just wonder, what do we do when we realize that a lot of the new crimes that are being committed intra-racially, right, between the same ethnic group, like blacks committing crimes against blacks, whites committing crimes against whites, Hispanics committing crimes against Hispanics. This, like, no one is actually on American soil right now. There are active hate groups, don't get me wrong, but they're not actually going out chasing down and targeting individual members of stuff. What they're trying to do is just they're trying to collect more resources for themselves and thus thrive in Americana. Like, that's what they're trying to do. And then they're trying to showcase this thriving facade to other members of their group wherever they lay in the world. That's what it's about. Now, I think a lot of African countries are starting to take heed of this and realize, like today when Barbados let the white queen down, it was time for that old crusty bitch to go. Like, I don't know why they chose in the first place to have like a white queen as a part of their something. I guess they became a republic and somehow granted Rihanna some position of something. That fucking makes sense, because Rihanna has done more for the culture and Barbados than the fucking queen has ever done. Like, what is she doing there anyway? Like, let this be a note to just let the crusty whites go. Let them go occupy Britain and drink tea, but what the fuck does this have to do with the rest of us? Like, we're not them. And we've come so far in terms of like culture and intellect and like sharing of resources. Honestly, like, what do we need them for at all? They're not making us look better. They're not feeding anyone. Emotionally, like, no one's happier. The Karens are stressing out everyone. And the whites are shooting up the country. It's just kind of like, I mean, don't get me wrong, because there's also a significant amount of crime happening in the black community. Like, go look at fucking West Oakland and Oakland in general. People are getting shot up every day. I mean, it's every day. And you know, this is exactly what's his face, that economist at NYU, was talking about. He was saying poor single men are the most violent people on the planet. And they are. They are. All of these men who are out here and they're not in relationships. They are not, you know, they're not college educated. They don't have access to a bunch of women. Like, I think this is why we need OnlyFans and Pornhub, because like these men don't have access to anything. Their families don't really love them very much, you know, like they don't have like much money in society, so they can't buy tons of things. Like, what are they going to do? Like, if they don't even have racism to hold on to anymore, what's left? Like, what's left? There's nothing. That was a really huge commodity. That is important for some people. Their meaning is built off of that. Like, my sheer existence is enough to make quite a lot of people uncomfortable and upset. I'm not taking anything from them. I'm not even mentioning any person specifically by name, by class, nothing. But just the fact that I'm sitting here with an opinion of my own, describing the society in which I live, that is a problem. But like, why? I was saying this today. Why does anyone else care how I feel or what I think or where I go or what I do or who I smash or who I don't or what I buy or what I don't? Like, you shouldn't be following me. If you want inspiration from my story and you feel inspired by what I have to say and you think like, I would love to try that too, well then try it for yourself. And I've written enough, I've shared enough to where you could consume my content and you can get a fairly good idea of kind of like how I'm living, what I'm about, what I'm doing, what I believe in. this is not rockets. I'm actually sharing it for you to like get a glimpse. If you've like never heard a black person talk like this, well, here I am, right? If you've never seen a person look like me, well, here I am. If you've never seen a person in this part of the world, where here I am. I try to geotag my posts, and I'm not an AI bot. So all the shit that I've said and written has been written by me. It is not curated by anyone else. I am simply here occupying space, and at this point filing lawsuits. Let's talk about the fact that I've figured out how to use the e-filing system with the Alameda County courts and have quite a lot of lawsuits to file. Some against my mother, some against Alameda County family law, just so many lawsuits to file. At this point, if anybody looks at me the wrong way, I'm filing a suit. And this is another thing I want to say. There are enough apartments for everyone to have one. Everyone can, if they want, have their own apartment. And with your own apartment comes the autonomy for you to do whatever the fuck you want to do. You don't have to listen to the others. You don't have to talk to the others. You don't have to look at the others. And if someone has a problem with you, what you should honestly do is file a police report. And you should get the authorities involved. Because people are out here committing all type of hate crimes, theft, all type of shit, and it's just going unreported and it's going unsolved. And then people have this belief that they can just continue to like eat off other people's plates. It takes just as much effort to do right as it does to do wrong. It takes just as much effort, and at this point you're just better off doing right. It's more fun. Like, it's more fun to just be around people who are succeeding, who are like righteous, who are trying, who are paying their dues, who are trying to make society better. That is more fun. But I'm telling you, there's something about the vileness of men, especially like poor men. This is another reason why I made that post today, that it was a response to Ruben's post where I was just like, yo, I'm going to build AI to wipe men off the face of the earth. I am. I was working toward white men specifically, but now I feel it's like all men. Just all of them, because it's like, it's a certain amount of violence that I feel like I didn't realize. Like, I just didn't realize there were that many people who had that much hate toward me, and also felt like they should spend their days and nights and resources trying to target. It's like, what's the point? There's like, I literally do not spend my day out there thinking about like revenge toward another person. I don't do that. Not even in a funny, I do talk about things that I see though. And I also spend a really ridiculous amount of hours sleeping, eating, and thinking about myself and my things and how I'm going to win more in life. Like, I do think about that. Don't get me wrong. I for sure do. But like, don't be mad at me for winning just because you're losing. Instead of being a hater, go win too. Like, there really is an opportunity for everybody to win. Like, if you're salty because of somebody that I dated, well, then you go try to date them. But if they don't want to date you because you're ugly or something, well, that's not my problem. Like, I can't help you there. But don't like be mad at me calling me ugly and stuff. It's like, well, clearly I was attractive to that other person who I was in the fucking relationship with. And don't be mad, bitch, because you weren't chosen. Like, that's not, I don't know what to say. That's not my fault. Like, I'm not sitting here being envious of other people's lives. I'm just out here living my own. And a part of that, though, and this is another thing that Mello said to me that I think is just very strange. He made this statement. He was like, nobody fucks with you. All the people don't fuck with you. As in, like, he was just trying to bring me down. It was like, okay, loser. So let's say that is true. If no one likes me and no one fucks with me, great. But I'm sitting here talking to you right now, and honestly, like, I was fucking with you. So like, all you're saying is like, you personally, as highly as you see yourself, which is clearly not highly at all, you're just calling yourself a loser, because you're saying like, okay, now I've chosen to affiliate with a loser, thus making me a loser, but now I want to vocalize to you that you're a loser. If you are actually around somebody to tell them to their face that they're a loser, you should just save your breath, because you should know this. You are a fucking loser too, because you're standing right next to them. Fucking retard. Like, it's almost like if I were to be like, yeah, there's this active shooter John over there, let me go introduce you to John. Like, are you fucking kidding? Smart people would retreat from the active shooter. They'd be like, I don't want to die, therefore I'm not going to relate or associate in any way with the active shooter. right? Like, but simply telling the active shooter that he is an active shooter, it's not doing what you think it's doing, boo. Like, you're not doing better for calling a person ugly, calling them dumb. Like, it doesn't actually make you better. Here's another thing that I realized, and not even in a funny way. To all women all over the world, there is somebody who thinks you're ugly. I've heard men call Halle Berry butt ugly. I've heard them call Megan Good ugly. Imagine that. These dusty dudes and broads too out here calling like somebody, you know, when Rihanna first came out, there were a whole bunch of dudes that called her ugly too. Imagine that. Being like, Megan Good, and I'm going to spend my hours and days talking about how Megan Good and Rihanna and Halle Berry are ugly women. This is how you know men are trash. This is how you know. You just know for sure. You're just like, if I was confused before, I know now. I know for sure. And this is why, especially if someone says something mean to you or treats you in a bad way, you should just know you have to have respect for yourself. It might take time to develop confidence. I'm not talking about confidence. I'm talking about respect. You have to have respect for yourself. So here's a part of that. Sometimes people do mean things to you. They will coerce you into doing something that you really didn't want to do. They will make you feel sad about something. They might gaslight you. They might ghost you. They might, whatever that they do. They might like smash or pass, like whatever it is, and it's gross and it's mean and it's hurtful. These dudes are going to do it. They're going to do it. And then you're going to be feeling bad, but you know what? You got to pick yourself up. And you got to say, you know what? That thing was me. Maybe listen to the Case Kenny podcast. That's what I've been doing. It really does help. It makes me feel better. But you have to pick yourself up. You have to pick yourself up and you have to say, you know what? That other person did say that really mean thing to me. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I felt bad about it. You might cry. You might be publicly embarrassed. You might be physically hurt. But you know what? If you are alive, you have an opportunity to repair. So you know what you should do? You should take your bath. You should wash your clothes. You should talk it out with your loved ones, your friends and family members. If you don't have any friends today, just know that it won't always be like that. I too have trouble making new friends, but good people will come into your life. Not everybody is out to get you. There are a lot of people who will care about you and who will want you to succeed. Just because, like, you know what the reality is? People who want themselves to succeed realize that other people succeeding with them makes for a better society. But if you are around a whole bunch of people who are not succeeding, they are actually going to try to take the things that you have. Just because you are the only person who has something. This is why the entire time I've been doing things outside of Ariel, I've been hyper visible about like, here's how I got here. Here's what I did. Here's how it felt. I've written about it. I've given technical talks. I've tried to post photos about it. I mean, I couldn't do that for everything. Like, not all of my intimate relationships. I couldn't do it for like all of those, right? But for the most part, like, I have tried to be kind of transparent about it so that other people realize that they too have the ability to have those experiences. That is actually very cool. Wait, I'm gonna move so you guys can see this. I actually moved the angle so you guys could see I think it's called the Campanile, and the bell just went off, so I thought that was really cool. Yeah, but I think that, and I mean, I don't think, I know, I'm pretty sure, you know, maybe at one point I wasn't, but at this point, I really feel like I am. I guess I feel like I physically am. I'm like one of the only people in the middle of this huge grassy area, and I'm the one talking. I'm the one with the mic. It's me. And I guess I honestly felt for a long time like it wasn't me. Like there was someone else who was coming along and who was going to be a role model and who was going to have the mic and who was going to be able to narrate and talk through and help the generation. And I felt like I was going to be able to silently make my mistakes and silently grow, but it really feels like that isn't possible. It feels like I have to be really public about my mistakes and my successes and my failures and how things have gone wrong and how they've gone right, because there's no one else who's gonna do it. And that's really frustrating, because it's like there are other people in the society besides me. Why does everyone need to look at me? Like, why do I always have to talk and always have to share and always have to explain and always have to fix things? Like, I don't like to do that. I don't like to do that. I like to sit in my bubble, in my corner of the world, and just be me. That's what I like to do. That is what I actually do. Like, I don't think about the other people, bro. Like, not for real. Like, I don't. Because I feel like a lot of them aren't thinking about me, so it's kind of like, fuck them, right? Like, what do I care? Like, this is what I feel like all the time. It's just kind of like, I mean, my friend Eddie was saying this to me yesterday. He's like, Livy, most people don't hate you and they're not trying to like take things away from you. And I just think Eddie's kind of like naive in a sense, because like he just hasn't had my lived experiences. So he believes that everyone's good, when in reality, like most of the people are trash, and they're jealous and they're racist and they're poor and they're envious and they're like self-confident and they're ugly and they're fat. It's just like all the things. And then I'm just supposed to sit here and like fix it or have some sort of like, it's kind of ridiculous, really. I also want to just vocalize slut shaming for a second to all guys who are sitting there feeling like because they smashed, because they did whatever, because they got someone else's ex-girlfriend and they couldn't keep her, and they did whatever, that they are now powerful, or, you know, they have some validity in some way. Please stop doing that. Because like every single woman will become someone else's wife if she wants to. If she wants to. Some women honestly have just opted out of relationships altogether, right? But every woman who has the ambition to be in a relationship, everyone, the ugly ones, the fat ones, the poor ones, all of them will be in happy relationships with men if they want to, because it's women are the prize. Stop listening to these men who are like, men are the prize, men are the prize. No, there's a lot of really great guys out here who are single and they want wives and they don't have them. And if they actually want wives in the real world, they're gonna have to pick someone who's here. And if you look around, like, you can see these guys they didn't sprout up yesterday. So they've been a part of society. They've had other relationships that succeeded, that failed, that whatever, and they had to pick from the available women. Like, as time goes on, great women just get picked up by someone else. That's what happens. There's not too, like, beautiful women are going to be booed up. All of them. Just because you say a mean thing about a beautiful girl, or you don't think she's beautiful, you should just be salty somewhere, wherever you are. But don't think that, like, she's not going to have a really great life for herself, because she will. And I hope that she finds my content and honestly feels like disgusted by most of you men, because she should. So, I don't know. That's all I've got for tonight. It's kind of dark. It's actually super dark. Good night.